Welcome to You Can Do It. I'm your host, Chris, and in this video, we're going to be unboxing this YARDMAX YC1160 plate compactor. So stay tuned, and we'll see what's in the box. All right, so we went ahead and purchased this. I probably wouldn't have bought it had I not got a price on what a rental is. So for a 1 week rental, I figured I was going to need this for about a week because I'm going to be doing a bunch of compaction here in the backyard for concrete sidewalks and a slab. It was going to cost me about $450 to rent it for about a week. So I ended up finding this brand new for the same price through Lowe's. And I think they have it on Amazon as well. So it couldn't beat it. It's got a 2-year warranty, and it basically was going to do the same compaction rate as the one at the rental yard. So let's go ahead and open this thing up. It looks like we got some tools up here on top. We may have to assemble a few things. I see some nuts and bolts in there, and looks like a wrench. Yeah, so I'm sure this is probably for the wheels, but let's just see what we got here. Owner's manual. Alright, so I filleted the box open, got a visual on it here. They give you some oil here, that's nice for the motor, and a funnel to get it installed. We've got a handle here. You got a nice handle, and then it's going to attach to this wheel set. The wheel set is actually really handy. It's one of the things I liked about this, because most of the compactors that you get, the plate compactors, you either have to put it on a dolly or have a couple guys help you move it. This actually, the way this wheel set goes is one guy can wheel this thing around. So it looked pretty nice on the internet when I was looking at it, and there was a lot of good reviews on it. Here's the handle. So there is some assembly required, not a big deal. I'm sure everything we've got here, it's pretty explanatory. Now this plate compactor, it comes with a 196cc motor, and the start type is a recoil, and the compaction force is 2,500 pounds. Now they do make some that are much bigger than this, depending on what your application is and what you're trying to compact. The blows per minute are 5,500, and the plate depth is 14.5 inches, and the plate width is 21 inches. The travel speed foot per minute is 75. So it does have the fold-up transport wheels, and they're always attached to the vibrator plate for any time and use. And this particular unit here, it weighs 135 pounds. Now they make one that's bigger than this, but for the areas that I'm working in and the trenches that I'm compacting, I figured this is going to work out good. And so when I'm all done with this thing, I'll just probably put it on, you know, the local, you know, Craigslist or Facebook and sell it. So anyhow, so that's what we've got here. I'm going to go ahead and start putting this thing together, put some oil in it and gas, and fire it up. Got the handle here. We're going to unfold it. It's spring loaded, and so you'll see these two C notches here with the holes in it. We're going to lift the handle up and strategically place it in there past this rubber bumper, and then kind of line it up. It'll just stay put there till you can get your bolts secure. So we've got these bolts here, the hardware kit. We're going to take these two M10 times 70 bolts. There's 2 of them. You've got nuts and washers, so we'll go ahead and cut those. There's a small washer in there too. You don't want to lose that. That's for the throttle control up on the handle. Put the bolts, shows a washer going on first. You're going to install the bolt on the outside, and it's showing the nut going on the inside. So it is a lock nut, so you'll only be able to thread it on by hand just a little ways until it stops. And the rest of the way you'll have to use a wrench. So we'll go ahead and install that. Okay, so in order to tighten up these bolts here, you're going to need a 15mm wrench and a 16mm wrench. So the 16 will be on the outside and the 15 will be on the inside. So we got the throttle cable here. It has a bolt in here, and as you can see, it actually has its own thread inside the actual clamp itself. So we'll go ahead and remove the black protective coating. We'll pull this screw, back the screw out all the way. Now there is a small washer that was in the package of hardware. I've got that in my hand, and I'm going to take the washer and install it through the screw here. And it's actually going to go on the other side, but I'm going to go ahead and install this onto the handle here. Place it, I mean, you can have it like this if you'd like, or like this. The throttle goes down, up. So I'm going to go ahead and put it like that. Alright, so here's the throttle. You can see it moving down here at the carburetor linkage. Got the folding wheel kit here. So you can see I've got the big bar, the big round circular bar. It's up on top, and then you've got these notches down here. I'm going to go ahead and take this thing and I'm going to stick it up into these hooks just to hold it there for me so I can get these bolts placed in the holes. I'm going to go ahead and take these bolts out of the package. It's the last remaining hardware that we have, and it's for bolting the folding wheel system to the unit. So just like you have the flat washer and the locking nut, you're going to take a flat washer, stick it on the bolt, another flat washer, and I'm going to take this thing and install it. Actually, it goes on the outside. So on the outside, stick it in like that. Same with the other one. This little gray bar is on the outside, like so. Now, when we tighten this up, you're not going to want to crank this thing down and tighten it because you want this whole assembly to be able to move freely. So if you over tighten it, this is not going to fold down. So you want to make sure you don't over tighten it. You want to leave some play in the nut when you tighten it up. Just, you can snug it and then just back it off a little bit so it has enough play. Here you're going to need a 16 and a 17 on this nut. This nut is a little bit bigger than that one. So you'll need a 16mm wrench and a 17, but you'll need two 16s for back here. So I've got a 16 there, and I have my other 16 on the outside. And I'll go ahead and tighten this up. I'm not going to tighten it all the way. I'm going to leave it a little loose so the bracket can actually move freely. Now I have my 16 on the outside, 17mm on the inside. Just snug it up. So let's just see how this thing looks like. It may need to be loosened a little bit. Oh no, it looks pretty good. I could probably also put some WD-40 in here or some oil, and it'll actually move freely a little more, or I can loosen it. All right. You'll see this other tool here. It's actually a spark plug puller. It has the spark plug wrench on one end. Your spark plug is located right here. So if this spark plug was to foul out, you would use this tool to get in there to take it out. It has a long shaft on it, so it clears the cage. So, I mean, basically, if you had to get a socket in here. You'd have to have an extension. So this is a pretty nice tool that they give you to take the spark plug out. All assemble, you'll notice that there was a funnel and a quart of oil. Actually, it's not quite a quart, but they give you the oil to put in. It's 1030 engine oil, 4 cycle. It's 20 ounces. So this is your oil filler cap here. This is where you're going to put the oil in. Now you'll notice this hose right here, this steel braided hose. This is actually the way you drain the oil. You just unscrew this here. It's just kind of up on a bracket. You unscrew it and have a drain pan. You just take this, tilt it down, and drain the oil out. It's really nice because that is the drain pin right here, drain bolt. You don't have to take this out, but on most small engines, you'll notice that that's where the actual drain bolt is, but they put a hose on it so you don't make a big mess here. You just take this thing, remove it, stick it in the pan. So we're going to go ahead and add the oil into the motor. Now on page 14 in the owner's manual, it tells you how much oil to put in. So you're going to be, this is the upper limit, and you're going to have the line go right to the middle of the dipstick. So make sure the unit is sitting level when you go to install the oil. And the funnel's nice and clean. There's no debris in there. So that's probably half. We'll go ahead and check and see where the oil level is. I'll put the cap back on the oil so I don't knock it over. So you're going to want to screw this all the way down because you got almost 3/4 of an inch here of play in the dipstick. So screw it all the way in. Make sure you take your time doing it. You don't cross thread it. It is plastic going into metal threads. If it doesn't screw in easy, then you've got it cross threaded. So just snug it up and then back it off again. And I'm barely at the bottom. So most likely it's probably going to take the whole 20 ounces. So let's go ahead and add the rest of the oil. All right, it looks like it's right where we need to be. All right, so we're going to go ahead and fill it up with some fuel. The recommendation is 86 octane and higher. So we're going to go ahead and pull the gas cap off here and put some gas in it. So over here on this side, you've got your choke on the top, and then this is your on and off fuel valve cockpit. So we're going to go ahead and turn that on, get fuel running to the carburetor. So when you're transporting this or you're moving it, it's always good to turn the fuel off so you don't flood the unit when you're not using it. So we'll go ahead and choke it. This is your fuel throttle here, but you're actually going to be operating it up at the handle there. And then of course, down here, you have your on and off switch, which is the red switch here. You'll turn that to on. We're going to go ahead and transport the compactor down to the front of the property. So I'm going to go ahead and lower the wheel set here. I'm going to pick it up right here, just lift it up to get my wheels up underneath the unit. There we go. Now be careful to push it forward, because this handle will want to go forward and you'll just lose the whole thing. So you're going to want to pull it behind you carefully. And I did turn the fuel off. All right, so we'll turn the gas back on. We're going to turn the choke all the way up. We got it in the on position. And then I'm going to just give it just a little bit of throttle here. Not a lot, but maybe just a quarter of the way. And we'll go ahead and pull start. It might take a couple times to get the gas in the carburetor, but we'll see what happens. All right. We'll go ahead and turn the choke off. I probably could have put a little bit of water on that and it would have got a little bit better compaction, but for how small this thing is and how easy it is to handle, this thing's pretty amazing. And I'm really shocked that I actually own this for the price of renting one for a week. I'll use it for as long as I need to and then just turn around and sell it. So, or I may just hold on to it because it's pretty small. I can just, wheel it in the garage and the handle kind of comes down and it's easy compact. So I hope this video helped you to decide whether or not you want to buy one or rent one. So stay tuned for our next video, and thank you for watching. You can do it.